Hey there internets, I'm Michael and this is Toucan Play That Game. So in this first introductory video I just want to take a few minutes to kind of explain what it is I'm hoping to achieve with this channel. So most of my videos are going to be going through some of these fantastic games and kind of just doing reviews, my thoughts on them, my opinions on them, with a definite focus on whether or not Toucan play that game. And the reason for that is the majority of my gaming is just me and my wife, so there's only the two of us. We do gaming with more people when we visit family, occasionally we go to games groups, but for the most part it's just the two of us. So when I'm looking at buying a game, I want to see, will that work for two people? Now, a lot of games are 2+ players, probably the majority of games, but there's still quite a lot that say they aren't for 2 players. However, I've found that there are occasions where even if a game is saying it's not for 2 players, if you add in some house rules, a rules variant if you will, you can still end up with a really good 2-player game that's worth having and adding to your collection. And the best example I have of this is Black Fleet, just up here, which says it's for 3 to 4 players. When I do reviews and go into that in more detail, I will go through the 2-player rules variant that I've introduced for that. But this is one thing I want to cover with the channel, is when a game can be a 2-player game, even if it doesn't say it is. And of course the flip side of that would be games that claim they are for 2 players, when actually, you know, they're just not worth bothering with for 2 players. Now, the best example I've ever come across with this, I don't actually own it, probably an example of the fact that it wasn't good for 2 players, is 7 Wonders. And even the creators of this game knew it wasn't worth playing with 2 players. Why they had rules variant for 2 players, I don't know. Because they've now come out with 7 Wonders Duel, the 2-player version of 7 Wonders. So, as I say, I want to have where games can play 2 players when they say they're not going to, and also where they say they will but they won't. You know, just let you know in advance to avoid them. So, as well as going through some of these fantastic games, and I've got some temporary artwork up on the page currently, which is just some photo of my collection. It's not a full list, but if you see a game there, you want me to make that one of the priority videos I do, then send me a comment, let me know, and I'll certainly prioritise that to be one of the videos that I'm going to do first. So obviously, as I say, I'll be reviewing games. I'll also probably look at doing top 10 games. I'd like to say I could do a top 100, but realistically I don't own that many games. I may have played that many games, but I don't own them. And my kind of viewpoint is, if you don't like a game enough to buy it, then it doesn't deserve a place on a top 10 list. So, as well as looking through these, doing some top 10s, I'm probably going to do the occasional video like this, just me chatting, just general thoughts on potentially news that has come up and what's going on. So, as I've already said, one of the things I want to do on this channel is review and go through games. Part of that I would like to do is teaching the games and doing run-throughs of the games. To begin with, I will be doing that. Over time, that may drop off depending on interest in the run-throughs and the gameplay and rules explanation videos. If people just aren't interested in seeing them, I'm not going to bother making them. But, as I say, to start with, I am going to be doing those. So, the format I'm going to be following for each of the game videos that I do, of the games I own as I work through my collection, will be first, to have the video showing the rules explanation to teach you games that you know how to play. Secondly, will be a run-through. So just go through 2, 3, a few rounds, just to give you a feel for the game, of what a turn would entail and how you play that. And then my final third video for that game would be my thoughts on the game, whether or not it is a two-player game, whether two can play that game. Spoiler alert, if it's in my collection, more than likely two can play that game. However, obviously, as time goes on, there may be more introduced that are not two players. And also, obviously, as part of my thoughts and opinions, I will also go through any rules variants I've introduced in order to make it so that two can play that game. So my aim with those 3 videos for each of the games is to inform you, the viewers, about that game, give you an idea of just what that game is, share my love for it, share why I have that game, why I play that game, in the hope that it'll help you to know whether or not that game is for you. And I don't mean I want you to take my word as gospel to rush out and buy the game. No, what I'm saying is I want to give you the information so that you can decide whether or not you want to try that game. Because my rule of thumb is to always try before you buy. So, just as part of this video, I wanted to take a few minutes just to talk about the process of trying to start doing YouTube videos. I was pretty much at a loss how to start. I didn't know what equipment I needed, etc. But in the end, I've ended up with not a very sophisticated setup at all. In fact, nothing. I've invested nothing in this, and as a result, I understand that the sound, the visual, the lighting, the whole quality of the videos is probably less than a lot of the channels out there, a lot of the other videos you could be watching. I wanted to talk about this a bit just to let you know, if you're considering it, that it can be done though. And I mean, I've invested 0 money so far, I've got no lighting, I'm just doing this in my living room. I'm using my phone as a camera, so you know, I think it's doing a great job. It's not just the camera, it's also the speakers. I've got to say, you know, congratulations Sony, you've done a great job in producing camera phone, and it's doing the job, and hopefully it'll last me long enough that I can determine whether or not this is actually going to go anywhere, whether you watching this are interested. And if you are, I can invest money, I can look to improve. But at the moment, this is set up. So as part of that, I'm actually going to do another video because I've created a makeshift tripod. I mean, I haven't gone out and bought anything to do this. I've just done it with some bits I happen to have around the house. So it's actually quite an amusing setup. It's all very unusual. If you want to see more, I'm going to do another video just to kind of show you the setup I have done here, what equipment I'm using. Obviously, I can't show you the phone because it's the camera, unless I find a mirror. Could find a mirror, but we'll see. So if you are budding YouTuber like me and you want to see how I've managed to do this, then please do check out that other video, and I'll be sure to put a link in the description for you. So in this final part of the video, I would just like to thank a few people who have inspired me to do this, and also who were good enough to respond and give me some fantastic advice, including with regards to the equipment, that I should just try it. Just, you know, use rubbish, see how I get on. Be passionate, I mean, I haven't scripted any of this, obviously there's going to be a lot of editing, but you know, I've had some great advice from people that I really respect in the games industry. I respect their opinions on games, even if I don't always agree with them. And let's face it, no one's ever going to agree with anyone 100% of the time. If they say they do, they're lying. But yeah, so I'd just like to thank Rodney from Watch It Played. Your advice has been really helpful, and I've loved watching your videos over the last few years. And also Nick from Board Game Brawl. Again, it was great of you guys to respond, to give me all this advice, and to help me just actually put myself out there and get in front of the camera. Thanks for watching Toucan Play That Game. If you've liked what you've seen, then please do subscribe, and as always, bye for now.